Hey, welcome back everybody to Slow Blues in E on a chromatic harmonica tuned to the key of C. This is episode 5, where we continue to explore sweet spots on the E minor pentatonic scale. This time we're introducing a new sweet spot, which I call the octave sweet spot. But we're going to combine that with the next door neighbor sweet spots we've been learning about in episodes 2, 3, and 4. So if you don't know what a sweet spot is, that's explained in episode 1. If you don't know what a next door neighbor sweet spot is, you can go back to episode 2. And then episodes 2, 3, and 4 demonstrate how to play on a couple of next door neighbor sweet spots inside the E minor pentatonic scale. Now we're going to introduce a very common technique used in blues chromatic playing, and that's called playing the octave. To do so, it requires tongue blocking. It's the only way that it's possible. And the way you execute it is you put your tongue in the middle of your mouth. There are a few different tongue techniques, but the idea is you use your tongue to block 3 holes, and then you play 1 hole out of the left side of your mouth, and you play another hole out of the right side of your mouth. On the chromatic harmonica, if you follow that pattern of 1 hole being played on the left side of your mouth, 3 holes blocked by your tongue, and then another hole played on the right side of your mouth, you will always get what's called an octave. It's a nice thick sound. Blues master George Harmonica Smith used octaves a lot. Little Walter, interestingly, didn't use them at all, but that's another topic we'll get to later. So what is an octave? Well, we know what it sounds like if we've listened to blues chromatic players. It gives that big, hairy, swooping, funky texture that is, very appealing to a lot of chromatic players, me included. Technically speaking, what we are doing is we're actually playing the same note, but in a different frequency range. So they're both literally like one's, if one's C2, the other note is C3 or D2 or D3 or E2 or E3. It's always the same note, but the higher pitch is double the frequency of the lower pitch. And that's just some kind of cosmo-natural fact that's out there that is kind of, mysterious. Another technical issue that it would be relevant to explain in this context is the note layout on the standard solo-tuned chromatic harmonica, whether it's tuned to the key of C, D, or E, it doesn't matter. Solo tuning is laid out very differently from the tuning on the typical diatonic harmonica, which is called Richter tuning. In Richter tuning, you do have 3 octaves. You've got 3 of these frequency ranges, but each octave is set up really differently. Like it's what you can do in octave 1 is different from what you can do in octave 2 is different from what you can do in octave 3. And you encounter that in every position you play on a diatonic harmonica. And depending on your attitude about such things, that either kind of sucks or it's kind of cool. I tend to be of the opinion that that's way cool. The solo-tuned chromatic harmonica, which, as we said at the beginning of the course, is the kind you should be using, and which is most likely the kind you are using, because that is the standard tuning, every octave is laid out the same. For example, if you're playing a 12-hole chromatic, starting at the left end of the harmonica, we've got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. In whole speak, that would be 1 hole blow, 1 hole draw, 2 hole blow, 2 hole draw, 3 hole blow, 3 hole draw, 4 hole draw, 4 hole blow. And it works that way through ranges 5 through 8 and also ranges 9 through 12. Or if you have a 4-octave chromatic, also known as the 16-hole or the 64, the 4 leftmost holes, we'll call them L1, L2, L3, and L4, they are also set up exactly the same way. So that opens up some interesting possibilities that you just honestly can't do on diatonic because every octave is so different. So one thing that I hope I made clear is that every note on the chromatic can be played in octaves because of that regularity of layout in each octave. And because of this, the octave in and of itself is a kind of sweet spot because you can do it everywhere on the harp, provided that you can tongue block. That is a requirement. There's just not a way around that. So let's get to the woodshed. Again, we will be joined by our good friend Michaela Gomez. She'll be playing the E7 blues vamp. And this time around, it'll be kind of like lesson 4, but this time, because we're playing octaves, it's going to be 2-hole played with the 6-hole, followed by 3-hole played along with the 7-hole, and the 4-hole played along with the 8-hole, with the 5-hole played along with the 9th hole, because we are playing octaves. because we are playing octaves, we will be doing the tricky rhythms. We will be doing warbles, which sound pretty cool with octaves, I think. What we won't be doing is playing the two-note together thing that we played in lessons 2, 3, and 4. The reason being is I just don't know how to do that. I think it's technically possible that you could play 2 holes out of the left side of your mouth, block 3 holes, and then play 2 holes out of the right side of your mouth. That's above my pay grade, I'm afraid. So let's get to it. So that concludes the E minor pentatonic next door neighbor study and also the E minor pentatonic octave study. So please stay tuned. Bye.